Welcome to Satisfactory Designs for Update 3. My name is Nilaus, and today we are going to build this steel production facility. It's a very nice basic build. Takes 120 iron and 120 coal inbound and produces 20 steel beams plus 26.6 steel pipes, all of it per minute. So without further ado, let's dive into the build. Let's dive into the actual design and build of this basic steel production. Let's start by looking at the stuff we want outbound. I'm going to build these two. They're just going to build the random locations, two constructors. We're going to look at steel beams. Steel beams takes 60 inbound and produces 15 outbound. Likewise, we also want steel pipes. Takes 30 inbound and produces 20 outbound. So that's basically what we have. We are also going to look at what we have in terms of inbound materials here. Now there are two different ways of making steel. I am going to, since this is going to be a basic steel build, I'm going to focus on the normal recipe. Now I would say that if you get the option to get the alternate recipe, it is so much better. And I highly recommend getting it. But I want to focus on the basic builds first, otherwise you might not be able to use it. Therefore, we're going to use this one. This takes 6 inbound materials and produces 3 outbound materials. That's very inefficient, while this one takes 4 inbound materials and produces 3 outbound materials. So much more efficient, but it requires an extra production step, the transformation of iron ore into ingots before doing this. That's not a problem to do at all, but we are going to focus on this one. Now this one is at 45 plus 45. And since my basic condition here is that you will have 120 iron and 120 coal coming in, and that's basically going to be the initial, whether you get it from 1 or 2 locations, but that's how much you are going to get in this use for this build. And if you want to make it bigger, you can just double it or triple or whatever you want. But I would focus on getting a small build up and running, so you have steel for the initial things you want to build with steel. Such as unlocking more tech. Now this one, 45 is an unfortunate number in my opinion, so I'm just gonna pretend that it says 40 and then go from there basically. So that means we get 120 in of each of those, and I get 120 out if I have 3 machines. Let's start by making 3 machines. That's probably a good place to start, and then we're gonna design from there. Now I'm going to be doing this, and I want things to be aligned. So I have the first row is for the distribution of inbound materials. The second row is for the first smelters, that kind of thing. And then I go into a splitter merger line, and then so on and so forth. So I use full lines whenever possible, because it just looks so much better when you have crisp builds like that. And I put this one in the splitter because the splitter is easy to place in the middle of a block. While, at least for me, sometimes it can be difficult to, when I'm standing like this, figure out what is exactly the middle. And this is the answer, this is the middle. I would actually maybe have thought that was the middle, but now we know that's the middle. And then we have this one. I'm going to take these two out because we're going to figure out what the next build is. Now, really interesting little trick here. Press F, the deconstruction, or if you are in the construction mode, hover over a building and press the middle mouse button, then you get a copy of it. Now I have no interest in making things super compact. I like things that are easy to overview. So you can see here I get 3 outbound. This will in total produce 120, since it gets 120 inbound. Now I have different options now. I can put the 120 in. I could, for example, make it into, if we look at this, one of these takes 60, and 2 of these for steel takes also 60. So that's a nice split. You split it evenly between the two materials. However, that would lead to us getting 40 pipes and only 15 beams. That might not be ideal, depending on what you want, because you want the steel beams for the Mark III belts. And if you really want to make a lot of steel as Mark III belts, then this is just not going to cut it, and you will have plenty of steel pipes. However, steel pipes are also used for Hypertubes, so you might also want to use a lot of those, depending on your needs. But I would say if you do the balance of 50-50 inbound, you are going to get too little. So what if you did it in another way? What if I said, I'm going to take these 3 things and basically make them dedicated 1, and, well, in this case 2. I think that's better for me, at least. I think that makes more sense. So I'm basically saying this one is going into, and again, I'm going to put this one in just to balance it. Nope, I need a constructor that aligns. There's the teal, aquamarine, cyan, blue, green line that links directly into that one. You have to be careful. The line that links from opening to opening is smaller than the line linking from middle to middle. So that's a little trick to it. So what if I did this one inbound? I need to scale this down. This is going to be here. I'm going to say, what if this one produces 40 instead? So it's 89% productivity. It also means it consumes less. Then I can take this directly in here, and it could be steel beams. Now steel beams, you'll only get 40, so you'll get 2/3 of this. And that means this one should be scaled down to 10. Now also, what is really important, as soon as you start scaling things down, you conserve a silly amount of power. Scaling down is so efficient. Okay, let's look at the lining there. There's a lining from opening to opening. Look at how thin that line is. While that one is wider. It also goes bottom to bottom, while this one goes inserted opening to opening. There. This one's going to be the same. Normal steel. Set it to 40 here. And this is going to be steel beams. And I'll set that to 10. I would not recommend, I mean, I would strongly argue against overclocking. Overclocking uses so much power and uses your shards that you really have way better things to use on. Now in this case, this one again, I'm also going to overclock this or underclock this one. There. And this one could now go into, I just need to line the other way. This could go into steel pipes. 30, but it gets 40, so I could just overclock it. No. Just no. What you really want to do is you want to get another one, and lo and behold, because I'm building it like this, there is room for it. Now everything though here is kind of skewed a bit because the output of this is not aligned. I'm kind of feeling that it might have been better to put these on the middle and then have the other ones shifted a bit. Damn it. I think I'm going to do this because it's going to look much better, and this is looks are important in this world. Right. So I need to shift everything. That one. And then I take the... There. Because this one doesn't really care if it's evenly or not inbound. Also, that one will now be even. There, that's much nicer. Now let's get the recipes back. That one. This one is steel beam, but only here. I'm going to take this one out, and this one out. And build this one. It's going to be in the middle here. And then I'm going to build it here and here. Okay. This one I'll drag until it aligns. See, that's middle to middle. It's not what I want. I don't want middle to middle. I want there. Input to input. That's input to input. Okay. Set the recipes. Steel ingot. 40. Would be nice if you could copy recipes. Not yet. We slowly get small improvements to sort of quality of life. Maybe one day we'll have it. Maybe when you watch this, we have it. And I'm going to put this in here. This is a merger. I want a splitter. Like that. And this one should also have a recipe. Alternate. Also scale down. And this will now go into both of these locations as always with me. 1, 2 back from corner and then it gets there. So steel pipes. This one takes 30 inbound, but what if I only wanted to have 20 inbound? Well, then I just do 67%. And then I have the right inbound. So this build, 67. Great. Will now produce 13.4. So that's between these two, it'll produce 26.7. While this one produces 10 plus 10. So I get 20 of these outbound. That's okay. And then I use this lane here. I just want to make sure that it's in order. That one. And that one is now in order, and that one here. Then all we need is that just hooking it up to some storage. Now this one, normally you could just say, well, you just build a storage box here, right? But in this case, I honestly want to say you want to build many storage boxes because you just want this one to run for as efficiently as possible. And this is not actually a good place because you're needing a bit of space to do some tricks. I'm going to place this in the middle there, and that one. Now, if you put it directly from here to here, then it will go up and up, and then you will have the first ones put in the top one. But you can kind of do it in another way. If you want to, you can put it into the top and then have it flow down. That means you're going to need some conveyor lifts from the top and in. What the? Is that not correct? Ah, the middle one is not turned right. Yeah. From the top, go in here. From the bottom, go in there. And that means when you go over and pick the bottom one, then that's where the first items will go. I mean, that's where the items will be resting. And this one is something I'm always really bad at for some reason. But we made it this time. Yep, we can make it slightly closer, but this one is now aligned to the middle. So that's what we do it. This one goes in and it'll just continue to build for a long time. I'll do the same on this side. Because it's nice when you decide that, alright, now is the time for us to expand our production or our... that one. Expand our logistics, so we need a lot. Then you just want to be able to go in here and get a ton of the lovely belts you need. Alright, so how do we make sure that this one goes to the same height? That's too high. That's okay. Maybe. Perfect. Well, that was not so difficult. Alright, so we have the build done now, and what we need after this is it's just the power and the inbound. Let's do the inbounds as well, and then we hook up the power at the end. And let's see. So I have a special way. I almost always. Ooh, that's dangerous. Let's reestablish that one. Nope. Sorry, a completely irrelevant thing, but you know, it has to be done. Now, if you have two things that go in here, then there is a really neat way of doing it. I'm going to take the iron in here. The iron goes into the first one, and that goes in. It comes from here, so I'm going to do the manifold build where it just lines up. Okay, now I'm getting annoyed that it doesn't give me that line when it's right next to it. So this is easy, but what about that one? If we go from this one here, there is a trick, and I just realized that I might have made something, a little boo-boo, we can say that. And that one has to be here. That means this one has to be that might be a bit too close. I'm gonna take the lower two out. This one is not connected despite what it looks like, but if you do it this way, it goes ding and then it's connected. And that means from this one you can just go to this one and lo and behold, it's perfectly aligned. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that yet, not just yet. So that's how we're going to do it. And I'll take this one here because that will also mean that it's a perfectly 90-degree turn. Sweet. Let's build the next one. They are quite easy to build once you get the hang of it. As long as it bothers to show you the lines, then it's fine. If it doesn't want to show you the lines, then actually kind of annoying. Where is it? And of course. Kind of important. It has to be all the way out here. This is the middle. And that one's out. Okay. It's not super easy to build, but it can be done. The part I'm missing is, as you can see, it blinks for a short time, but it is right on that line. This is just a matter of getting routine on this. That one. And take it out. Take it out. And the last one. You don't have to do this, but since I've started on this pattern, I kind of want to continue on it. That is... that's okay, actually, weirdly enough. Let me do the next thing. Here. 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 Okay, so now we have to make one more thing that is necessary. That is going to be a Mark II belt from here to there. Mark II belt from here to here. The next one does not have to be a Mark II belt. So we just do a Mark I belt. Because we will never have more than 60. Actually, we'll only have 40 going this way. So what we've done now is we have done the designs. We put the belts in. We have the inbounds as well. We do not have the power. And I'm going to take this one out. Okay, so let's do the power. Power is always annoying, I find. Let's try and just do it like this. What? Yep, power is always annoying. Or at least you can do that one. And that goes to... check this out. What? That gets hooked up again. This one can hook up to that one. And from here, hook up to this, hook up to that, and take the other one all the way over to, which will hook up to the last ones. Alright, everything is now constructed. Everything should be working. Only thing we need, there's actually a nice little walking path here. All we need is, nope, this has to be a Mark II belt. There, there, and I'm gonna go to this one, which I don't really want there. But I'm gonna build somewhere else, like here, for example. And now we're going to monitor what it is, where it is, and what's working, and if it is looking like it's a smooth build. Now what we're monitoring for is the green blinking and the yellow blinking and potentially red blinking. So first of all, there are no red blinking. It's blinking red if it either does not have a formula or it does not have power, or both. Or neither, I would say. You can see here, comes in as a full belt. This one is emptier. These three are now all working continuously, and we need to start seeing that they in here. These two are working, also should be working continuously. That one's getting some. If we can see this one also working, it would be nice. Otherwise there could be a problem with the belts and such. Is it working? Yeah. It's working now. You can see it goes up and down and there's a green line. So now at this point, everything is working smoothly and it'll continue. This build is taking 120 iron inbound, 120 coal inbound, producing 20 steel beams plus 26.7 steel pipes per minute. Very nice little build. This will certainly serve you really well in terms of getting steel established quickly. As you can see, it doesn't take up much space. Pretty neat build. You can of course compress it a lot so we don't have this empty space, but I really like having this this here. You can also do other things in terms of balancing and splitting out. You can take the content of all of these, go into a single merger, and then split out to maybe two sides, one that goes into 120 steel beams and one that goes out into 120 steel pipes. Of course, both of them will only run at half speed, but if it means that if one runs full, the whole production can be shifted the other way. This way here, if you have a full inventory of steel pipes, well, the steel pipes will just get stuck, but you can't sort of ramp up the production of steel beams because it's all been scaled towards use working continuously. I think this is the preferred way to do, especially for an early game build where power is going to be tight. You're still running at this point on maybe you're running on coal power, maybe you're running on biofuel, maybe you're on a combination of those, but in either case, this you don't want to use more power than absolutely needed. So we're gonna wrap this one up here. I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial on how to do a basic steel build. And if you do, then let me know in the comment section below if there's other things you want me to go through in other types of builds, or if there are any mistakes or improvements or variations. So with that, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay effective.